Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father in heaven. Everyone who listens to these words of mine and acts on them will be like a wise man who built his house on rock. The rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and buffeted the house, but it did not collapse. It had been set soundly on rock. And everyone who listens to these words of mine but does not act on them will be like a fool who built his house on sand. The rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and buffeted the house, and it collapsed and was completely ruined." The Gospel of the Lord.
In a sense, whenever we say the Lord's Prayer, we cry out, "Lord, Lord." And yet, at the same time, it's so easy to be swept away in what we call concupiscence. Who knows that word? Okay, great. A lot of students know it. But just for you, those of you who don't know, concupiscence is a leaning toward, it's a tendency toward what is not good, what is sinful, what is of the flesh, instead of what is of the Spirit. And so it's so easy for us to do that. And most of the time we lean in that direction because we really don't think about what we do. It's so easy to get swept away in the stuff of the day and lose consciousness and spend a lot of time reacting or overreacting, being driven by emotion, caprice, concupiscence, instead of thinking. But yet every day in the Lord's Prayer, "Our Father who art in heaven," we cry out, "Lord, Lord." And then we get to that part, "Thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven." And although we like to believe that, practically speaking, do we really proceed on earth as it is in heaven, or do we more or less proceed in heaven as it is on earth the way I like it? And we even have things that we do and say that sort of impose the reality of earth onto the reality of heaven. For example, my vision of heaven is a large bowl of ice cream that I can eat all I want and never have to gain weight. Or then you have the Islamic vision of heaven with, countless numbers of, never mind. But so there's all these opinions imposing an earthly reality onto what is above. And although that's a little bit funny right now, we do have a tendency to live that way. Instead of crying out, "Lord, Lord," and really meaning that. What do you want me to do here? And so instead of making decisions by what the Lord calls us to do so that we can get to heaven, we make decisions according to what we want so that we can have it our way. And lately, all I've had to do is watch news for 5 minutes and know that down here is not what I want for eternity. And yet we keep settling for that. And at the same time, hypocritically, we cry out, "Lord, Lord." And in the back of our mind, we're saying, "Lord, Lord, I'd like it my way." But Jesus reveals in this gospel that our way is crumbling. Don't you see it? It's not working. And so the church becomes the community of builders that stands against the mud buildings of the world, that when the rain comes, they dissolve into nothing. but we're building a city in prudence, justice, wisdom, fortitude. A city built in faith, hope, and charity. This is the vision of the prophet Isaiah, that people would do that. A strong city have we. He sets up walls and ramparts to protect us. Open the gates, let in a nation that is just, one that keeps faith, a nation of firm purpose. You keep in peace. Peace for its trust in you.
Regina Celi, letare, alleluia, qui aquae meruisti portare, alleluia, resurrectio